All right, let's go look around and see what's going on around the globe. Hawaii, around Pahala, still got quite a bit of activity, which we had a pretty good sized earthquake down here yesterday too. And we got these out this way. This is on the slump. Now, this one, we had activity down here. It shows movement going on down here around this caldera seamount. And over in the east, we have a 1.8 around South Carolina. These are drill points. And we got a couple of small ones. One north, well, that's around the Grand Canyon. Now, like I was saying before, we were starting to get activity up toward the Grand Canyon. And it looked like it was trying to wake up a little bit, becoming more active. And it's becoming more active on the Garlock Fault. Let's go down here around Salton Sea and check this out. We got a small one here, but not sure if it came down the San Andreas or it's coming off these other faults. You see how they're coming down the fault line and then joining in with the San Andreas or the Brawley. So something's still going on in this area. All this here is small activity. We just had a 1.1. Okay, let's go on up. And right here is the Garlock Fault. We only got one around it right now. Now let's jump up here. Over from San Francisco. We had a 3.8 yesterday. That was a good size earthquake. But look what's going on behind the 3.8. All right, we started dropping down 1.3. As you can see, it's going down to 1.5. It keeps, went up to an 8, 1.9. And then we dropped back down to a 1.3. And then here's a aftershock that is concerning. Is this leading to another foreshock? Is what I'm wondering. Because it is possibility. Watch for another foreshock around San Ramon, California. That one's a 2.6 because the way this is acting, it shouldn't have went up this far after releasing all this small activity, but it is possible. But still watch for another quake a little bit larger than the 3.8, which was most likely a 4, as we know. We know how they get downgraded. Now going on up the map, around San Andreas, there's not many earthquakes down through there, as you could see when I was over there. And Mount St. Helens, we got the 0.2, and then a 0.9, then a 0.1. So that may be all we see here, hopefully, and the earthquake 0.9 should be the highest. Jump over here to Yellowstone, and we were seeing this quake as it came in. You remember the activity was small, and then it was going up, and we was watching for the foreshock, and then we had one after that. But anyway, we got this 3.2 here. And now let's look at the 3.2, go up through here, see what's going on with that, 0.6. All right, I don't see anything adding up to a larger quake than what we already had, the 3.2. Now let's look at the 2.5s and greater, 2.6 in Texas, around the drill points, 3.2 Wyoming, and off the coast at 3.1, and this 2.6. Like I said, this area right here, we could see another quake because it just don't look right. It's not adding up. And up here in Alaska, we got these 2.6. We got quite a few 2.5s and greater up here. We haven't been having that many. It was all small activity except for out here in the Gulf. And this makes my updates short the way I do it. If I drag you from here to here, all the time, it will make the updates so long. When I do it this way, you still see all the earthquake activity, get all the information you need, and, it makes it a lot shorter. We don't have the time in the day for that. So You know, you can get all the earthquake activity reported in a short update if you cut out all the bull crap of just leaving it in there just so you can get ads and this and that. You know, the people don't need to have to sit and watch all that for nothing, scroll around the board. But anyway, 5.1 right here going up, 5.1, 6.0. So we're still having some aftershocks. We had those 6.8, I think, over here, and that was yesterday. And around Chile, we had a 5.4, and we got a few over this way, but nothing significant. Now, this one is concerning. New Zealand, around the volcano, 4.6. That's getting spooky right in here. 147.2 miles deep. Around Canada, what they're reporting, we got 3.3 12 hours ago around British Columbia. 10 hours ago, reported shaking. Now, in this area is around Vancouver Island. In between Vancouver and Washington, it is increasing in activity. 3.2, Mammoth, Wyoming, and 12 hours ago, reported shaking. All right, now over here, this morning, we could see a 6.0 or greater because this morning it was building over here and then I can't see it building anymore. But we're also having this activity over here around Japan, you know, taking off pressure. But now the other day when I was talking about the pressure building over here, and I said we need to go ahead and start watching for the 6.0 or greater and maybe even build any larger. And then we started watching for that. And then the next day I thought it released because I was looking at it and, you know, first thought as it's going to be 6.0 or greater. And then the next thought come to mind, you know, that it was released, but it hadn't released. It released over here, 6.8. You know, there's a big quake too. But usually the first thought that you have when you're looking at something is the correct one. And I sat there and looked at it and thought, well, it's released. So I thought it released, but it didn't. 6.8 hadn't released yet. Now, this morning, it looked like it was building again now, and so we could get a 6.0 or greater. But we're watching this to see if it builds any more, but this over here might be taking off the pressure from that. So we just got to watch. It was starting to build this morning, that's all I know. I'll see you on the next updates. Everybody stay safe, and we'll be watching.